In this tutorial, I'll be showing you how to add different fractions. So if I want to add half plus quarter, what's the right way of doing that? So I'll teach you a very easy thing. So when you're doing that, so you need to make sure that when you are dealing with two fractions, for example different fractions, you need to make sure that the denominator is same before you proceed. Because we have different denominators, one is 2, one is 4, we need to make sure we have the same denominator. So firstly, what will happen is that to make sure that we have same denominator, I will multiply 2 by 4, right? I will multiply 2 by 4 and 4 by 2, right? I'll multiply each other by each other, right? So I will get the same denominator, which is 8. So 4 by 2 is 8, 2 by 4 is 8, right? Now whatever I've multiplied the lower with, I'll multiply with the numerator as well. And here I have multiplied by 2. So I will say 4, and then there's a plus, and it's 2, right? So I will say equals 4 plus 2 is 6. It is 6 over 8. That's the answer. Okay, so a quarter plus half is 6 over 8. That's the answer. And if I want, I can further simplify this. So I can divide both by 2 and say it's 3 over 4. 3 quarters. 3 quarters is the simplified version. If you want to do this further. And so the basic thing that we have done is that we have first of all make sure that the denominator is same, so we multiplied each other by each other, and then whatever we multiply the denominator with, we multiply the numerator as well, and then we added them together and got the answer, right? So that's as easy as it can get. Now for example, if we have if we take an example of if we take another example, okay, for example 2 over 3 minus a quarter, for example. So first thing is that we need to make sure before we do anything that the denominator should be same. That's very important before you do anything. So to make sure that denominator is same, we multiply each other. So 3 by 4 and 4 by 3, right? So we multiply that, and what we get is 12 is the answer. Okay, so that's common. Now whatever we have done to the denominator, we do the same to the numerator. Multiply by 4, multiply by 3, and that's 2 4s 8, and that's a minus, and 3 is that, and so what we get is 5 over 12. That's the answer. Okay, it's as simple as that. Okay, so you just need to know the steps. The first step is that the denominator should be same, and so you multiply each other, and then you multiply numerator with the denominator as well, okay, with the one that you multiply denominator with, and then you do the equation. Okay, that's the thing before you do anything about that. And so there are other questions as well that you can consider. So there are big questions as well. So you know, where there are 3 fractions, you're multiplying or adding or subtracting each other. And I'll do one more example so that it's, you know, easier for you. Plus 2 over 5 plus 1 over 15. 1 over 15, okay, or not 15 actually, I will say 1 over 2, okay, so that it's easier to understand. So what I'll do is I'll make sure the first step is to make sure that the denominator is same. So here what I'll do is I will multiply each other by each other. So I'll multiply 3 by 5 and then as well as 2, because there's another denominator. There are 2 denominators, okay. I'll multiply 5 by 3 and then by 2, right? 2 by 3 and then by 5, right? And then I will just have a common denominator for all of them, okay? So what I'll do is I will just grab my calculator, okay, and I will multiply 3 by 5 by 2. It gives me 30, okay, and then all of them gives me 30, right? That's the common denominator. Now whatever the second step is, whatever I've multiplied the denominator with, I'll multiply with the numerator. So 1 times 5 and then times 2 as well, so that's 10. So I will just okay, that's 10, right? 10 plus, so 2 I will multiply by 3 and 2, which is 12, right? And then another plus, and then 1 times that, which is 10. No, 1 times 3 and 3 times 5 is 15, right? So I have 15 plus 10 plus 12, and that's 37. So what I get is 37 over 30, right? And I can see here something that I'll just erase this part now, okay, and because I don't have any space left. So what I can see, I can convert that into 1, and that will be 7 over 30. I can simplify that because I can see that 37 can be divided by 30 once, and then the remainder is 7 over 30. Okay, you can simplify it further, or you can just leave it like that, whatever you like. So the first step is always that you need to make sure that the denominator is same. You do this by multiplying by denominator, other denominators as well, and then when it's same, then you multiply the same thing with the numerator, and then you add the equation. So it's as simple as it can get.